Every budgeting app starts with the same question. What is your monthly income? Enter the number. Build the categories around it. Track against it all month. But what if that number changes every single month? What if some months you bring in $3,000, other months $1,800, sometimes $4,000, and there is genuinely no way to predict which kind of month this will be? If you are a freelancer, a server, a contractor, a gig worker, or anyone whose income has any variability, you already know what happens next. You close the app, because the app is not built for your life. And then somehow you feel like the budgeting failure, when the tool is actually the failure. Today we fix that. 36% of Americans earn some or all of their income from non-traditional work: freelance, gig, commission-based, seasonal, self-employed. The budgeting industry has largely ignored all of them for decades because the math is messier and the templates do not fit as cleanly. But the financial stress that comes with variable income is very real, and the strategies that address it are specific. Today, I want to walk you through the one framework that consistently helps variable income earners find stability. Let me walk through what actually happens when someone with variable income tries to use a standard budget. Month 1 is great. You bring in $4,000. You set your budget around that number. You feel good. Maybe you spend a little more freely because the money is there. Month 2 is slower. You bring in $2,200, but your budget is still calibrated to $4,000. Suddenly, every category is overspent. The app is full of red bars. You feel like you failed, but you did not fail. Your income changed. The budget just did not account for that. So month 3, you try budgeting from your average instead. You calculate average income over 6 months and use that number. Sounds reasonable? Except in the low months, you are spending against money you do not have yet, and in the high months, you have a surplus with no real plan for it. The average is never what actually arrives in any given month. The core problem is that standard budgets treat income as a constant, when for variable earners, it is always a variable. When you force a variable into a constant, you do not get stability. You get math that is perpetually either too tight or too loose, and a constant feeling of not knowing where you stand. Here is the framework that actually works. I call it the floor income method, and it is built around one key insight. The only income number you can budget from with genuine confidence is the minimum you expect to earn even in your worst realistic month. Your floor income is not your average and not your best month. It is the floor, the number you are confident you will hit even when things are slow. For some people, this is clear: a minimum retainer, a base wage, tips that never drop below a certain amount. For others, it means looking back at 12 months of income history and finding the consistent trough. Once you have your floor number, that is what you budget from. Every month, regardless of what you actually earn, you plan your essential expenses: housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, minimum debt payments, so they are all coverable by your floor income alone. Here is the critical piece. Anything you earn above the floor goes directly into what I call the buffer pool. It does not get immediately allocated to discretionary spending. It goes into a separate account and waits until you have a clear picture of the full month. This single habit removes the boom-bust cycle. High months stop becoming accidental spending sprees. Low months stop becoming emergencies. Once the floor income method is running, 2 additional pieces make it genuinely sustainable long-term. The first is your income buffer, a separate savings account kept funded to 1 to 2 months of floor expenses. When a slow month comes in below even your floor, you draw from this buffer to close the gap. When a strong month comes in, refilling the buffer is your first priority before allocating money anywhere else. This buffer transforms irregular income from a constant anxiety source into a manageable variable. The second piece is your bonus allocation system. Once the buffer is fully funded, when income comes in above your floor, you split the surplus intentionally: a percentage to spending, a percentage to savings, a percentage to debt if you have any. The exact percentages are yours to decide, but having a pre-made plan for surplus income stops it from silently evaporating into lifestyle spending, which is what happens to most high-earning months for most variable earners. The result, after a few months, is something most variable earners have never experienced. A slow month arrives and you do not panic, because you have built the structure to absorb it. That feeling, knowing you have a plan for both scenarios, is what financial stability actually feels like when income is not fixed. Variable income is not a personal finance handicap. It is a different set of rules. And once you know the right rules, you can build just as effectively as anyone with a fixed paycheck. Start with your floor this week. Calculate it. Open a separate account for your buffer. And start treating everything above the floor as a bonus to allocate consciously.